what's up everybody? And man, welcome back to House Parties, to the very first house party in 2020. And so I'm down here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It's unbelievable. Man, shout out to that house party right here on the Gulf Coast. We're excited, we're proud of you. And but think about this. Right now, all throughout South Mississippi, we're gathered in 13 different locations. And so what God is doing and is going to do is mind-blowing. So from the very beginning, let's do this at all of our house parties. Man, can we just go ahead and celebrate in advance? Yeah, let's give God some praise for what He's going to do in your life and through your life. And if we haven't had a chance to meet, my name's Timmy, and I'm just honored to be in this journey with you guys. And so we're kicking off a series. The series is called Threads. And I love this because as we enter into a new decade, if we could wrap our minds around these three big biblical truths that we're going to call threads, it'll change everything about our life. And so the one that we're talking about tonight is this, is that you have been created in the image of God. And so let me get this kicked off by asking this question. How many of you are on TikTok? I mean, come on, let's be real. Go ahead and raise your hand. I know just about everybody is on TikTok because the recent study says that TikTok is on more devices now than Instagram. That just kind of blows my mind. I personally don't have it, but don't judge me. Now, the next question is this. How many of you really want to be TikTok famous? Yeah, you made a resolution. In 2020, I want to be TikTok famous. I've heard a few people say that. And so here's why. It's because if you can get TikTok famous, then what's going to happen? It's going to give you some significance. It's going to give you a little bit of status and a little bit of clout in this world because this is our culture. Our culture, don't miss this, our culture connects status to our self-worth. Our culture says that if you're popular and that if you're significant, then you have value and then you have self-worth. But what we want to do tonight is really just unpack that and kind of deconstruct that because that's not true. And so we're going to go ahead and dive into the text and really see where this first thread comes from. And it's in Genesis chapter 1, starting in verse 26. And listen to what it says. It says, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." Verse 27, "So God created mankind in His own image. In the image of God, He created them, male and female." This is significant. And this is really where we find our self-worth. This is what makes us humans. And so let this sink in. Everybody at all of our house party locations, like just think about this, that you have been created in the image of God Almighty. Like this is massive. And the way it applies to you and the way it affects me is this, is that now it means that my self-worth and my value is not attached to my status. Like my self-worth isn't attached to how good I am or if I'm TikTok famous or Instagram famous. No. My self-worth is attached to my Creator because I've been created in His image. Like I carry with me the image of God Almighty. And so this is so powerful for us because not only that, but think about it. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you make because your mistakes aren't going to deplete your self-worth. You've been created in the image of God. And so it doesn't only just affect how we view ourselves because it gives us self-worth, it gives us value. Like it doesn't matter how good we are, popular we are, none of that matters because we have value in who we are in God. But here's the other thing, is it radically changes the way that we treat other people. And so think about this. Like everybody we see, everybody we encounter, it doesn't matter if they're black, if they're white, if they're Asian, Caucasian, if they're rich, if they're poor, if they live on the coast, or if they live in Summerall, like it doesn't matter. Everybody we face and everybody we encounter, they've been created in the image of God, so we should treat them in that same way, that they have value and they have worth. And so can I just get like brutally honest with us for a little bit, just for a second? Is this, think about this, for guys, I want to speak to the guys first. And so you know the greatest way for us to devalue someone, and this happens all the time with guys, is that when guys just want to do a casual hookup, or guys are looking at pornography or whatever the case might be, that's the greatest way that we could devalue a human. Because what's happening is we're taking their self-worth and reducing it to satisfy an appetite. And so girls, can I just say this to you? Like, you have no idea like how valuable you are. And so my challenge to you is to set your standard high. Like, you've been created in the image of God. And when God created you, He did it with intentionality, He did it with purpose, and He did not make a mistake. And so if we could really just grasp and understand the fact that we've been created in the image of God, one, that gives us value. That gives us intrinsic worth that's not based on our status. And two, it changes the way that we view, and it changes the way that we see and interact with other people, because we need to treat everybody as if they have been created in the image of God. And so I want to end on this little analogy, because y'all know I'm kind of weird. I love the beach. I love the ocean. Like, it's amazing. One of my favorite things to do is to go to the beach and watch the sunset. Like, I'm a little bit weird when it comes to sunsets. I think they're amazing. They're beautiful. But think about this. You know the only thing more beautiful than a sunset? It's knowing the God behind the sunset. It's knowing the God who actually made it a sunset. And so in our culture, we're so superficial. You know, we see value based off of status and followers and how much money people have, because we're so superficial. And so my challenge is is we have to see past the surface and see people as who they really are. And the way they really are is that they've been created in the image of God. And so maybe for you, that's something that you need to see about yourself, because you don't feel like you have a lot of self-worth, or you don't feel like you have a lot of value in this world because of the mistakes you've made. Well, we got to get rid of that, because that's not true. Our value and our identity and our self-worth is not based off of our status or our mistakes, but it's based off of our Creator, that we've been made in His image. And so, man, we love you. We are for you. And what's going to happen now is your house party host, your team leader, is going to come on out, and they're going to give you some further instructions. But just hear us say this, is that, man, we are for you, and we believe that the best days are ahead of you. And never forget that you have been created in the image of God.